My first experience with alcohol was at a house party in my hometown just a few days after high school graduation. Look,
It's me,
there I am,
Mario.
a token black kid at a suburban house party 30 minutes outside of Boston. That beer in my hand was the first of many that I'd learned to drink like a pro over the next 4 years. You better! Highlight of that first night involved a dare, a jacuzzi, and one of the most popular girls in school. So, needless to say, I was hooked from that first night. But I digress. This video is about alcohol, and more specifically, what it is, how it's processed in the body, how it's related to fitness, and why you probably don't need to stop drinking, but why I chose to quit.
Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the fields. Vivid for the ears, I know that's how they like. Yeah, I fantasize, tell me that it's real.
For those who don't know me, my name is Menya, like Kenya with an M, and I'm a health and fitness coach based here in Tokyo, Japan, sharing new ways to challenge your thinking, transform your health, and improve your overall fitness. Now, before we get started, please subscribe below so that you don't miss out on any new videos. And remember to give this video a thumbs up because you're a winner! First of all, there are 4 types of alcohol. Ethyl alcohol, the kind we ferment, distill, and drink all over the world. Denatured alcohol, the kind we use for cleaning and stain removal products. Isopropyl alcohol, the kind used for windshield washers and nail polish removers, and rubbing alcohol, the kind used on living tissue to prevent infection. Ethanol, also called ethyl alcohol or just alcohol, is a clear, colorless liquid and the main ingredient in alcoholic beverages like beer, wine, and whiskey. Yeasts are tiny, single-celled organisms found everywhere on Earth that ferment almost any plant sugar by converting that sugar into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So with bread, a baker wants to capture the carbon dioxide to leave in the bread and make it rise. But with alcohol, a brewer wants to capture the ethanol. Fun fact, although bread dough contains the same kind of alcohol found in beer, the reason you don't get tipsy after eating a bagel is that nearly all of the alcohol evaporates while it's being baked. The earliest signs of alcohol are from around 9,000 years ago in China, made from fermented rice, millet, grapes, and honey. And here in Japan, although sake, which is rice wine, is the national drink, lager beer is the most popular alcoholic beverage. And when I say the most popular, I mean people really, really like beer. Back home in the US, it's pretty common to go out for a drink or 2, or 10, depending on what kind of night it is. But in Japan, drinking is almost always accompanied with a meal or an otsumami, which is a light snack. Common otsumami are edamame, which is soybeans, surume, dried shredded squid, and narade, which is small rice crackers. So, without getting way too detailed, ethanol is metabolized differently than regular food. After you drink alcohol, it's mainly absorbed into the blood through the stomach and small intestine. That blood then travels to the liver to be processed because, unlike regular food, which consists of macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbohydrates, the body has no functional purpose for alcohol because it doesn't contain any vitamins, any minerals, or any macronutrients. What it does contain is 7 calories of food energy per gram of alcohol, which is why beer and other alcoholic drinks are often called empty calories. Empty calories are anything that supply food energy but little to no vitamins, minerals, or macros. Some other examples of empty calories are soft drinks, candy, and margarine. And if you're interested in learning more about macros, have a look at my first video when you're done with this one. So when it comes to alcohol absorption in the body, what's inside your stomach has a huge impact on the speed and ability of alcohol to get into your bloodstream. About 15 to 20% of alcohol is absorbed in your stomach, while the remaining 80 to 85% is absorbed through the small intestine through a process called passive diffusion, which basically means that the more you drink, the faster you get drunk. But let's be serious, you already knew that. This is from the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. High-intensity drinking is defined as drinking 2 or 3 times as much alcohol as a typical binge episode, suggesting that it is far riskier and has major implications for individual and community health. If high-intensity drinking were an official sport, which it basically is, across colleges and universities in America, I know at least a handful of people who would easily qualify for the Olympics and the beer mile. You know who you are. When you eat and drink at the same time, the pyloric sphincter, which is a small ring of muscle that separates your stomach from your small intestine, closes and reduces the amount of alcohol that reaches the intestine by as much as 75%. When you drink without food in your system, that small ring of muscle stays open and allows alcohol to pass freely into your small intestine, which is why you get drunk so quickly on an empty stomach. Whether or not you drink with food in your stomach, your liver filters it out of your bloodstream at a rate of about 1 unit of alcohol per hour. And it's worth pointing out that 1 unit of alcohol is a lot less than you'd think. Have a look at this chart for perspective. And no matter what your uncle, hairstylist, best friend, local bartender, or hilarious Super Bowl commercials tell you, alcohol, aka ethanol, is a toxin. This is from the World Health Organization, which is the United Nations agency responsible for international public health. Alcohol is a toxic and psychoactive substance with dependence-producing properties. In many of today's societies, alcoholic beverages are a routine part of the social landscape for many in the population. In this context, it is easy to overlook or discount the health and social damage caused or contributed to by drinking. Ethanol is also classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. So, although it's true that anything in excess can be toxic, including cinnamon, coffee, and even water, alcohol is always toxic. Our bodies are just good at handling it in small quantities. There are studies that show that light to moderate alcohol consumption can be good for the heart and circulatory system by helping reduce your risk of cardiac arrest and clot-caused stroke, but not a single credible health professional in the world would encourage a person who does not already drink alcohol to begin drinking in order to improve his or her health. What that means is that although your doctor may tell you to exercise more, sleep better, stay hydrated, or eat more healthily, he or she would never tell you to start drinking alcohol if you don't already do so. Why? Because it's not good for you. Less is better than more, but none is better than any. And like all addictive drugs, alcohol consumption releases dopamine and endorphins, which are both pleasure chemicals that help us feel happy and confident while reducing stress, physical pain, and inhibitions. This is why drunk people do fun but dumb things like this, and this, and this. And in Japan, guys notably end up like this, and this, and this. So of course alcohol is fun and makes us feel great while we're drinking it, but there's a reason that your body hates you the next day, and it's not because alcohol is good for you. Oh, and another fun fact. About 1 in 3 East Asian people, namely Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, experience facial flushing, which is also known as the Asian glow, when drinking alcohol. In Asian populations, it's due to a deficiency in the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase, which is involved in the breakdown of alcohol. So the next time you see your Asian friend's face light up like Rudolph's nose, it's not because he can't handle his liquor. Everybody processes alcohol a little bit differently depending on your size, age, biological sex, ethnicity, and genetics. There's a clear relationship between alcohol and fitness, which is mainly that alcohol consumption always decreases physical fitness. For starters, drinking alcohol lowers performance because it's a sedative that weakens hand-eye coordination, impairs judgment, and slows down reaction time. On the topic of performance, it's also the cause of alcohol-related erectile dysfunction, also known as whiskey dick, which, regrettably, a lot more guys are familiar with than we'd like to admit, including myself. But that's a story for another time. It's also worth mentioning that although a drink or two may help you relax when playing a sport like golf, drinking alcohol is never going to help you run, swim, cycle, or train any faster or harder. And if you don't believe me, have a few drinks, then try working out. Just make sure to have a trash can nearby for when you vomit. Drinking alcohol also makes it harder to lose weight because it contains calories but has no nutritional value, and it lowers our ability to make rational decisions. What that means is that you're likely to start the night saying, "I'm just gonna have a few drinks." Famous last words. Then if you're a Japanese salaryman, wind up like this guy. It's much harder to control how much you eat or how much you drink once you start drinking. So again, less is better than more, but none is better than any. Alcohol is also a diuretic that can quickly lead to dehydration, especially if you've been exercising and you're trying to stay hydrated. Ironically, although alcohol is terrible for fitness, fitness is fantastic for alcoholism. Studies show that the more you exercise, the less you tend to drink, mainly because exercise increases endorphins, dopamine, adrenaline, and endocannabinoid, which are all brain chemicals that help us feel happy and reduce stress. So choosing exercise over beer also encourages you to make other healthy choices, like eating better, sleeping earlier, and not passing out in public like this guy. On the topic of sleep, drinking at night has a negative impact on sleep because alcohol inhibits the excitatory neurotransmitter glutamate, which is the most common neurotransmitter in the entire body. As alcohol is removed from your bloodstream, thanks to your liver, your body compensates for the earlier blockage of glutamate by producing more in your nervous system, which leads to unnatural sleep with limited rapid eye movement, or REM. And although alcohol helps people fall asleep faster, like this guy, it creates unnatural sedated sleep, similar to anesthesia when you're having surgery, that denies your brain the benefits of REM sleep, which is the most important kind of sleep for memory and learning. So basically, alcohol puts you into a deep sleep faster, but reduces your overall sleep quality. And once alcohol has entered your bloodstream, it interacts with nearly every part of your body, including your heart, lungs, and muscles. Which leads us to the big question, will drinking kill my gains? The good news is no, it won't. Alcohol has a negative overall impact on fitness and protein synthesis, which is your body's natural process of creating protein molecules. But moderate drinking won't stop you from making gains in the long run. So why did I choose to stop drinking? My first experience drinking was at a small house party after I had just turned 18 years old. I drank because I wanted to experiment with alcohol before heading off to college, and my very first beer was with friends and teammates to celebrate graduating from high school. So for me, alcohol has always been a way to celebrate special occasions and have fun with friends, but people drink for all sorts of reasons. This is a study published in 2015 by the United States National Institute of Health. Most research has focused on two broad categories of motivation. The first category revolves around drinking for negative reinforcement. This motive has been labeled drinking to cope and is usually defined as the tendency to use alcohol to escape, avoid, or regulate unpleasant emotions. The second category revolves around drinking for positive reinforcement. This drinking motive has been labeled drinking to be sociable and encompasses drinking to be convivial, to celebrate special occasions, and to have a good time with others. Drinking to be sociable means drinking for fun, to relax, to enjoy the taste, to spark creativity, and most importantly, to connect with others. That's why you see alcohol at meals, sporting events, amusement parks, parties, the beach, and virtually everywhere else where people gather together. It helps create a sense of community and belonging that's great for some aspects of health and even contributes to longevity. Some of the best experiences of my life have involved alcohol. You better not! And while a lot of people who drink alcohol occasionally have terrible experiences, like all those times when you swear you'll never drink again, not many people take the time to step back and actually think about their drinking habits. It wasn't until 5 or 6 years ago that I finally stopped and asked myself some important questions. Those questions were, why do I drink? What results do I get from it? Are those results fulfilling? Do those results align with my values and long-term goals? What I realized is that 1, I was drinking because it was the perfect excuse to be reckless. All my friends were doing it, and it was by far the easiest way to meet women. Or at least so I thought. 2, I absolutely hated hangovers and they ruined my day, resulting in crappy workouts and self-loathing. And 3, I liked the brief ego stroke the morning after a one-night stand and having stories to share with the boys, but not as much as having deep conversations with interesting people and creating real, meaningful relationships. Above all else, what I realize is that people often do things that are in their worst interest now because they were in our best interest at some point in the past. In college and through my 20s, drinking was amazing, and if I could go back, I'd probably do it all again. But now that I'm married, have a family, and only want meaningful relationships, alcohol doesn't play the same role that it used to. Now no hangovers means better workouts and better overall health. No bar banter means deeper connections and real relationships. And no alcohol just means a better me. Will I ever drink again? Definitely, if the occasion is right and I feel like it. But in general, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything and I don't miss alcohol. So if you're going to drink, drink because you enjoy it, it adds value to your life, and it aligns with your values and goals. Not because you're stressed, you want to fit in, or because you think it's good for you. So do you need to stop drinking? Probably not, but honestly, I don't know. Try answering those 4 questions that I mentioned in the comments below. Why do I drink? What results do I get from it? Are those results fulfilling? And do those results align with my values and long-term goals? As always, please subscribe below so that you don't miss out on future videos, and smash that thumbs up button so that I know you liked this. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next week.